Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2025 Volkswagen Atlas. This is the Peak Edition SEL. Huge shout out to FOURR Volkswagen for providing this SUV for me today. Take a look at their website. That link is down in the description. This Atlas is finished off in deep black pearl. MSRP is just over $53,000. Now this is powered by a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's paired to an 8-speed automatic. It pumps out 269 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the 4Motion all-wheel drive system, propelling this 4,600-pound SUV from 0 to 60 in 7.4 seconds. It has a top speed of 117 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 18.6 gallons. You'll expect to see 18 miles per gallon in the city, 25 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 117.3 inches. Its overall length is 200.7. It has a width of 78.3, a height of 70.4, and its ground clearance measures in at 6.3 inches. Now for the Peak Edition, you get a redesigned front and rear bumper. There's all of the badging and then the roof racks too. Aside from that, everything else is pretty much what you would see on the SEL. Now up front, you'll notice that the Volkswagen logo is also the forward sensor for distance pacing. There's plenty of cutouts in that upper section, along with LEDs for all of the lighting. Now you'll notice too that the design within the headlights actually goes into the bar running across the top of that grille just to connect them and make it look a little bit more clean. Now there's also parking sensors in the lower section, and then you get that brushed accent for the lower section too. It's also on the trim accents on both sides of the bumper. And then there's 4 distinctive lines that come down the hood just to give it a great look. Now you'll notice there is some plastic in the lower front bumper, which works its way to the fender arches, along with the lower side skirt where there's more brushed accents to match up front. This also gets gloss black 18-inch wheels with a little bit more of an all-terrain tire compared to a normal Atlas. You'll notice the Peak Edition badge just underneath the side mirror, which has the turn signal. And then there's a full moonroof and the roof racks too. All of the window trim is blacked out as well. And there's some nice subtle lines that run down the side. There's a crisp point, however, just above that Peak Edition badge, and it goes through the gas cap all the way to the rear. And then this also has a body colored spoiler with the third brake light, wiper blades in the lower section. There's also LEDs for all of the lighting. There's a backup camera with all the parking sensors, and then this model is also equipped with the tow hitch, so it can tow right around 5,000 pounds. And this also has remote start, so when you lock it and double tap it, this will start up, and then you can double tap that button again to shut it off if needed. Now you can also use the button on the key fob or the electronic release underneath to open up the power liftgate. Now the Atlas is a 3-row SUV, so with the 3rd row currently up, you still have a good bit of space, as you can tell with these items here, where you can place in whatever you have. Now there's also a little bit of storage with a spare underneath the floor, so you can place additional items underneath. Now the 3rd row is manual, so you just pull on that release there and you can quickly fold that seat down. You can do it of course with the other seat too, and by folding the 2nd row down, that gives you a lot more interior space for any items that you need. So it's a very practical and spacious vehicle for its sizing. And then you can quickly pull that 3rd row up with that strap, which is very nice. So it's an easy process to do. And then working your way to the interior, there's proximity door handles, so you can lock and unlock it. This is also equipped with the manual adjusting sunshades, really neat trim accents surrounding the brushed aluminum release handle. You do get a little bit of storage, which is also the grab handle there, window control, and then more storage in the lower section. And then this particular model has a bench seat with a really nice design for these seats. Now the easiest way to get into the 3rd row is that you can pull this lever here and actually slide the entire seat forward. You could fold it down if you wanted to, but this makes it so much easier. Now there's only 2 seats in the back, and these seats in the middle can be moved forward, so you can get a little bit more leg space if you wanted. At 5'10" though, I have maybe ½ inch to an inch or so of headroom, so honestly I could ride around town. You have some storage along with auxiliaries too over on this driver's side, and then cup holder storage as well. So it's a little bit on the small side, but it's doable even for adults and taller people. And then you just have to grab on that release there, and that's how you can slide that seat back. Now once we hop in, it's not a very tall vehicle, which is nice, so it's easy to enter and exit, and then you have that bar to slide these seats. Now there's storage pockets behind both front seats. You get vents in the middle, all the temperature adjustments, and a fan speed there where you'd like the air to go, and then more auxiliaries down below. And then at my height, I have a lot more space, of course, as you would expect for the 2nd row, and these seats do recline, so you can get a little bit more comfortable when you need to. Now right in the middle, there's an armrest with the 2 cup holders just underneath that right there. And then you'll notice that the cargo windows in the back are very large. So you have a lot of visibility and lighting for your back passengers. Now up front, there's side mirror adjustments, window controls, trunk release, and more storage. And then you get memory seating adjustments for the driver's side, and they are power operating with a very nice design. And then as we hop in, solid leather steering wheel with the Peak Edition badge in the lower section. And then let's start this up where this is equipped with paddle shifters on both sides. On the right side, there's a heated steering wheel along with voice commands and tuning. And then right in the middle, you can use these to further go through the gauge cluster and this information. So you can just click on view and you can actually bring up a few different screens just depending on the information that you would like to see. So you have miles per hour there. You can pull up more of a traditional view with some info on the left and the right. And then you have the traditional tack there, and you can go into the navigation. So just depending on the information that you would like to see, and you can also scroll with what info you would like to see on each one. So I can go to the left and the right to further customize any of these screens. So really nice to see that amount of information. Now on this left side, there's your cruise and distance pacing and then volume for the audio. There's also headlight adjustments along with some defrosters. And then there's one air vent. This has a head-up display, which is showing miles per hour. And then with the infotainment system, on the far left, this is how you can get to the home screen, basically. So you can actually push on it twice to get between the icons and that split view. So with the icons, you can go through all this information, just depending on what you would like to set up. You can go into vehicle, so you can look at the status here. You can also click on vehicle up top, go between your interior and exterior for ambient lighting and the rest of that information, so very easy to see. And there's also some data too, so you can look at basically your trip information with how the vehicle is driving and the efficiency. Now you can also scroll over to that split view, and then you have another split view where you can go through the rest of that. Now, still within the screen, you do have shortcuts to the heated seats. So just push on that and it will pull up with the rest of the climate adjustments too. So you can go through all of this, including the rears. So you can adjust those from up front, which is a big plus to see. Now there's also some touch sensitive buttons down below. So you can do your audio, you have power for your radio too, and then there's also temperature, which you can swipe. Now you can also just click on the screen too and get back to this screen here where you can use that, but you have the shortcuts down below, which is helpful. Now underneath that, you do have more shortcuts. So climates will get you into the screen I just showed. There's also a mode button. So you have several different driving modes depending on the throttle that you would need and the traction for the tires. You can pull up the camera system there, and then there's also the assistant view that you can pull up and monitor. Now you do get wireless charging with auxiliaries and storage. There's 2 cup holders, and then this is the gear selector. So push it forwards for reverse, where you have the backup camera, and then there's also drive and sport mode, and then park is in front of that. There's the e-brake. You get an auxiliary with lots of storage in the armrest. There's even hidden storage underneath, and then plenty of storage in the glove box. And up top you have garage door buttons, and then just swipe your finger, and that's how you can open up both the sunshade and the sunroof. You can even do that at the same time. And then as far as visibility goes, you have a lot of glass, so it's very easy to see in both directions. So setting off behind the wheel now for the Volkswagen Atlas, this is a really neat 3-row SUV. I think it offers a lot of sizing for how compact it looks from the outside. You definitely have a lot of interior space. But with this Peak Edition too, it's kind of going towards that trend of a lot of automakers making their off-road focused version. So with this Peak Edition, you have the tires, the wheels, just a little bit more of a sporty design to it from the exterior, and of course the badging on the interior. The rest of the vehicle is kind of what you would expect for the SEL trim level in general. So it's based off of that. I believe you can get the SE with the Peak Edition as well. So it's a separate package, of course, for this. But this is a really nice vehicle to drive. I've been able to drive quite a few Volkswagens in the last couple months, and this would make for a great daily driver. I like the fact that it's been pretty small in the parking lot as far as maneuvering it goes, so it would make for a great daily if you're not looking for a large 3-row. And it's also got a good bit of power to it, so with a minor acceleration, we can get up to speed, and it didn't seem like it was struggling to do that for this type of vehicle and the performance that you are expecting with a model like this. So I think it has a good bit of power too, but it's also very nice to drive. Super quiet and comfortable for the road that I'm on right now. Seems very smooth. and would just be a great vehicle that has a minimal amount of technology too, but everything that you need for daily driving and what you would expect. Seats are also really comfortable as well, and it's surprising that this can actually tow. Right around 5,000 pounds is what Volkswagen states. I would probably say with this engine, realistically, maybe 3,000 or so, just depending on the items that you have, but you can at least use it if you have a smaller trailer, you have some smaller items. It's a practical SUV in terms of putting people in it and using it with a trailer if you have some smaller items. But it's a great vehicle to drive. With the sporty trend of having the off-roading trim packages, this is a model with a four-wheel drive system. You can go off-road with the off-road setting there. Now, it's not a hardcore off-roader, but if you're going camping or hiking or something where there's some gravel roads or things like that, this would be able to tackle those. You have the all-wheel drive system for better grip and handling through those areas. So it's something that is for situations like that, but gives it a cool look at the same time. So we are in sport mode, second gear. We'll use the paddle shifters. Here we go. And with a mild acceleration, we're up to speed, and the paddles are actually pretty responsive. Even with that mild acceleration, you have those when you need to use them. Situations, maybe you're off the pavement, you can hold a gear. If you have a trailer behind this, you can do that, or if you just want to have some sporty fun. The paddles are there and responsive, which is nice to see. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the Atlas Peak Edition. It's a very nice model to drive. It sits pretty low too, so for an SUV, you're not crazy high up. Very easy to enter and exit, almost like a sedan in a sense, but you still have, you know, a higher position here. It just feels like it's a little bit low if that's what you like. We do have a height adjustable seat too, so that way you can adjust that depending on how you want to view out. But I can easily see over that passenger side there, so you can place this vehicle, which is nice. Again, not intimidating for a three-row SUV if you need that extra space, but you want a little bit smaller-ish of a vehicle. And with the different driving modes, we can put it into Eco now, where you will feel a difference in the throttle input, and it looks like we can still use the paddle shifters here, but there's definitely going to be a delay, which is what you would expect with the different driving modes. So they are functional, which is nice. You even have a snow mode too. So if you're taking this through inclement weather, you can even go in and customize all of those different settings, which I didn't show earlier. But if we come to a stop here, we can go through the different modes and how you want to set up everything, from your climate control to your engine sound, drivetrain, and steering too, which is very nice. So it makes it a lot more configurable just depending on the situations that you are in. And again, as far as maneuverability goes, we have a large backup camera there with the sensors too, so that is very helpful. And then let's give it one more acceleration for today's video. So we're merging out into traffic. We can get up to speed here. And we are good to go there. You can feel a little bit of that turbo there, which is nice. But that is going to wrap it up for the 2024 Volkswagen Atlas Peak Edition. Once again, huge shout out to FOURR Volkswagen for providing this for me today. Take a look at their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.